Hello, welcome pen friends. This is going to be one of those off-topic kind of personal updates I do every once in a while. So if that's not your thing, I totally understand. But I just like to come and talk to my pen friends sometimes and kind of talk about the other things in my life, especially this year, because I'm not actually buying a lot or hardly any in the hobby this year. I'm kind of keeping it to essentials only, like when I need paper and things like that. So it actually feels really good because I had such an excess that it feels a lot better to be using what I have and everything. But at the same time, it feels weird because I'm not getting new things to do, like pen allowance videos on, but I can still come on and talk to you, and I like to do that. And it seems I got enough feedback during the last one to know that enough people do like that, so I'm really happy about that. And I hear Coco kind of running around, so he may make an appearance, I don't know. But what I've done is on a little index card I've written down a bunch of topics. I may not go in order, I may just kind of get scattered, but that'll kind of help me if I forget some of the major areas. I know I definitely want to talk about reading, what I'm reading, both nonfiction and fiction, because it is hot summer already here in South Texas. And so in the early morning and in the evening, I can get outside to work and do stuff. And that's another topic, is my gardening and yard work. But reading is a really, really big part of my summer, even more so than winter, because we get outside for outdoor hiking and activities quite a bit more in the winter here. So it's just a whole bunch of different topics, including how I accidentally became caffeine free, which is very, very interesting and a surprise even to me. So hopefully, I mean, that might be something that interests you. But I think I'm going to start by talking about the most unlikely topic, which is me and gardening. I got it into my head that I wanted to do some vegetables this year. It's not the first time I've tried that here. I've actually had really good success with jalapeno peppers, and what was the other? I really had the most success with jalapeno peppers, but there was something else I planted too that yielded pretty good. I just don't remember. And Manuel has an entire garden back there of cactus. And so I don't eat cactus. I really don't like the flavor of it, but it's the big round cactus. I'll have to take a picture of his. It's really something. And he cuts it up, and you can make it with hamburger or whatever. So I suppose we're going to survive no matter what, but I don't think I would do too well on cactus. So what I planted, he encouraged me to plant watermelons. I don't eat watermelons, but I do eat squash, and I planted squash, watermelon, jalapeno, and cilantro. And now I wish I'd gotten a few more seeds and maybe made it a bigger garden, but things are coming along really good. Manuel helped me create a frame around it, so it would kind of be a guideline of where I was going to be planting. But I seeded everything several weeks ago in little pots and little tiny little things, and everything grew to my surprise, especially the watermelons. It's actually funny because they take up a lot of room, and I'm not so sure how much I may have to thin out the watermelons depending on how they do. And it's a pretty good amount of work because I have to keep everything watered. We're in a severe drought down here. So, I mean, it's exciting. It kind of brings back my childhood because we always had big gardens, especially when we were, when I was younger than 13, when we were in West Glover, Vermont. We had a gigantic garden, and it was a lot of work, but it was also a lot of good food. And my favorite was always green beans. Oh, hello, Coco. He did come. I knew he'd come. He and I have been competing for this chair. Manuel thinks that we should go get another office chair so that he'll have one. But whichever one I like better is going to be the one he's going to get. So, isn't that right, Coco? Inspecting the ink. Okay, so I've been doing the gardening, which is kind of balancing with the yard work, which as many of you know that are my pen pals, that Manuel's going through kind of a difficult health thing with his heart, and he's not doing too much yard work right now. I mean, he can do just a little bit. So I have actually bought a battery operated little rechargeable weed eater, so because I can't handle his big gas one. Hello, Coco. It's just the gas one is so heavy and so complex and everything. But to my surprise, that's working out great too. I mean, it's funny because it'll run out of charge after maybe 40 minutes, but that's enough, really. That's enough work, and I could come in, charge it. He said I should get another battery, but I said, I think the break is good to come in and put it in the charger and get it, you know, let it recharge, and I can do other, like there's been leaves to rake, there's been all kinds of stuff. Haven't even had to get the lawnmower out. That's how severe the drought is, but it doesn't stop the weeds and it doesn't stop the edging from needing to be done. So I've been spending a lot of time outdoors, and it actually, I think it's good for me. I've felt a lift in spirits, and I think what I'll do is share a few pictures over on Instagram of how the garden's coming along. I'm a little bit shy about it because it's pitiful in a way, you know, like it's really kind of small, and it's a varied crop, and I only had one really good squash plant come out, and I'm like, oh, that's the one I keep talking to the little plant saying, you are my only hope, because it's the only one. But the jalapenos, several of them look pretty good. And the cilantro is really small, but when I touch it and then I smell, oh, it's so fragrant. It's good. It's going to be good. It just needs to get a little bigger, and it will, I think. So that's what's been occupying a lot of my time, and I love the fact that it's kind of balanced. Doing the watering and the, you know, looking over the garden area and weeding and things like that is really fun and low key, and it balances the yard work, which is kind of a necessity. I mean, we could hire to do it, but it's good exercise for me, and I like to be able to do it. I feel better about that because I have the time, so why spend money on labor that I can do? As long as I can do it, and I can. We have a self-propelled lawnmower, but at this rate, you don't need to go beyond a weed eater because of the drought. He went to the window now. He's looking out the window. He's something else. So I guess the next topic I wrote down, which has nothing to do with gardening or a yard, is that I became accidentally caffeine-free, which is so interesting to me because it had been in my mind that perhaps my coffee habit wasn't the greatest for me. But the reason I even started drinking coffee was to get rid of the Diet Cokes, which I felt like coffee was healthier than Diet Coke. I know it is, but because I just drank black coffee in the morning, you know, 12 ounces of it, I guess. So it wasn't this raging huge thing, but I'm extremely sensitive to caffeine, and I'm naturally hyper to begin with. And so sometimes I felt like I just couldn't like get my feet back down on the earth till, you know, 3 or 4 hours later. So what happened was on May 3rd, I got sick, really sick after Manuel got sick. Okay, so let me back up a little more. We went to my niece's funeral I think it was April 19th. And about 10 days later, Manuel got really sick. But I thought at first it was like a flare-up of his stomach issues. But he wouldn't go to the doctor, and he was getting better. Took him maybe 4 days to get better. And just about when he was getting better, maybe 3 to 4 days later, I got sick. And then we knew we were dealing with a virus because I don't get sick that way. I just don't. I mean, the last time... Hi. Coco didn't get sick. He stayed real good, and he was kind of looking at us like, what's going on with you people? And anyway, there was no way I could drink coffee that day, and I got the worst headache that I've ever had, and I couldn't even take Tylenol because I couldn't hold down anything, water, nothing. So I thought, well, this is great. You know, I thought most likely the headache was coming from not having my coffee, most likely, but it didn't matter. I just needed to survive. So I survived. I finally, you know, and really for me, it was 24 hours. It wasn't a long sickness. Hello, what are you doing? My goodness, say hi to the people. Say hello. Anyway, then I thought, well, gee, the headache's gone. it was completely gone the next day, and I kind of would feel it a little bit, but I'm just drinking decaffeinated tea and tea that says no caffeine. So I know that it's extremely low. So when I say I'm completely, like I'm decaffeinated, that's not 100% accurate, because the decaffeinated black tea probably has maybe, I don't know, 8 or 9 grams of caffeine, but it's not enough to even move the meter, and it's not something where I want another one and another one. It's just a warm beverage that I know probably has good antioxidants and so forth. Anyway, so I'm kind of excited about this because I looked back in all of my food journals trying to figure out when was the last time I was not having caffeine. Coco's very serious. I don't know what this is all about. And I couldn't find it. But I did find where I was giving up diet soda, and I was determined to at least transfer from that like 3 years ago, so that I was just no longer having the chemicals and the yucky, excuse me, the stuff that comes along with the soda. I don't want it. But I couldn't find a place where it didn't say, because I always annotate what my beverages are too. I check off for water and all of that. And what I'm finding the most surprising is that a lot of the problems, or the little maybe contrast or issues that I have, don't have anything to do with coffee, because I'm completely off it, and I still do have certain things going on. But hello, he's gonna tear my clothes off, Coco. That's not going to be good. No. Ouch, ouch. Okay, that's enough. He's a clown. I don't even know what I was saying. That's terrible. I'm going to lose my composure here. Okay, we're back together here. Anyway, being off caffeine is an interesting little experiment, and it's an interesting, there's some observations that I'm making. I do notice that I can think a little bit slower. I'm not quite as, he says, really, Mommy? Are you sure about that? I'm just not quite as rushed, and I'm able to kind of slow down. You little rascal. I need to go get one of his toys or something. So I don't know how this will turn out, but I do know that in the past, if I tapered off caffeine and then I had some, a very little bit went a long way, and I wasn't needing to have some larger portion. We'll keep it at that for now. But, I've kind of weighed the pros and cons, and I feel I see his paw sticking up in the air. And those are sharp little nails, too. I recognize that there's nothing harmful, as far as I know, about a cup of black coffee in the morning. I wasn't exceeding some crazy amount of it or anything like that. But I would have told you that it wouldn't be possible. But the way I was describing it to my friend was, it just was an accident. And, I didn't think I could stop drinking coffee without having daily headaches, but it was just that one day. So anyway, both Emmanuel and I recovered really quickly. I had 24 hours of hell, and then the next day I was a little bit weak, but I was up doing my chores the next day. And we did COVID tests at different times, trying to space them out, the home ones, but we didn't, they came out negative. But I still, in my mind, I still suspected that we could have picked it up, but we were vaccinated and boosted so much that it wouldn't surprise me to not pick it up in the nasal tests, the ones that come. This is going to make the YouTube thing spend forever trying to determine whether this video is okay. But you say certain words, and then you're in for it. Okay, so let's see. I think we better talk about the kitties, the health of the humans and the kitties. We talked about the humans. Manuel is dealing with, a new medication and getting some tests to see what all's going on. But there's also the heat, the humidity, the Saharan dust. It's the time of year. So I think working outside, doing anything exerting isn't really a good idea for him at this time of year with all that's in the air. It's making the air really heavy, and even I notice it. So anyway, the cats are all doing really good. Really good, yes. And he's having a field day there. But Willie and Princess are spending most of their time outside, so I kind of miss them. It's hilarious, actually. I'll read at night, and they'll come knocking on the door. They come to the front door. They know that's the room I'm in, and they kind of make their noise, and I let them in, and they get their refreshments, and they kind of lay around on the vinyl floor and cool off a little, and then they go right back out. They're definitely outdoor kitties this time of year. I think they love it, and they love the hunting. You're going to fall on your head, Coco. They love the bird hunting and all of that. So the next topic is exciting to me, and that is reading. What am I reading? Normally, I am heavier into the nonfiction, spiritual books or self-help genres, But right now, I'm keeping that really light, and I'm back into my Thomas More books. Now, the one that I was really looking for, I don't have a copy of it, is Dark Nights of the Soul, but I have a notebook where I took complete notes on the entire book. So it's like full of notes, and so I'm really proud of myself for doing that. It was a library book, and it is on my on my wish list to get the book, but I found that my notes are really good. So I really enjoyed that one. And then also Life at Work. I've been back into this one. I have not been reading any of these cover to cover. The other book I've been sort of contemplating, contemplative reading and meditating is Practicing the Power of Now. I love this book, and it comes in really handy when you're finding yourself needing to kind of stabilize and not let outer conditions, rock you too bad. But my absolute favorite of Thomas More is Care of the Soul. Whoops, that's kind of glary. This is not the original copy I had. I've given away 2 or 3 of these and then repurchased over the years because I just can't be without it. I actually can pick this up and go to any part of it and really get something out of it. And as I get older, I just get more and more out of it. I really love him. And then, of course, I have his Soulmates, too, and that is really good. But always my favorite has been Care of the Soul. So I kind of been keeping these around for when I just want to relax and do that contemplative reading, read a little bit, and then deeply think about what I'm reading and kind of compare to how I used to feel about some of these subjects and how I feel now that I am older and our sort of phase of life is changing. So that's the nonfiction. Whoops, kind of light on. I call that light because I'm not actually reading and intensely taking notes on them. I'm just working with them. And then, my fiction. So here's what happened. I got back to the Outlander series, and I'm reading book 7, An Echo in the Bone. Now, this happens whenever there is a release of one of the seasons of the Stars show that goes along with this Outlander series, which I love. I love it equally as much as I love the books, but the books are such a wonderful, detailed experience, but patience, because look how thick that is. That's really this is your average kind of book. It's at least twice the size, and it is over 1,000 pages. Let's see. Yeah, they're all up there pretty high. I think the first book was less, but this is 1,155 pages. So you're on an experience. It's not a quick read, and it's like, basically spending time with this family. And they go through quite a bit. So I like to interspice other books too. But I was really on a roll because I just finished the one that has snow in it. The silver covered one. Let's see. I don't even have them in front of me, so I can't. Yeah. I don't remember the title. It's terrible. That's ridiculous. Anyway, it will be over she's I have not got book 9 yet. This is 7, and I have book 8. And then the one with bees in it is the number 9, and she's writing number 10. So I can take my time because it's still an ongoing series, and it's really good. When I first sort of walked away around book 4, I felt like maybe I just wasn't focused enough to read this kind of lengthy book with so many characters. But I'm just dropping that out of my worry. I mean, there's no worry. As long as I'm alive and reading and can see to read, then I can, continue to, as long as I enjoy it, which I do. There are times when I want something lighter, and that's coming next. But then I just feel like just drop all that self, perfectionism or whatever it is. Also, the other thing that kind of enhanced my reading of this series is following Jenn at the Book Refuge. She has a YouTube channel, and she's fabulous. And her Outlander content is not her most popular content, but it's just amazing. It's great, and I have enjoyed it. She'll tell you whether it's a spoiler video or a spoiler-free video. She's got both, and I kind of like to go back, and after I read one of them or watched a series or a episode, I like to see what she says about it. Kind of enhances my consolidation and memory of where the characters have been and everything. So for anybody who doesn't know, Outlander, it's got a time travel theme and lots of history, lots of war history, both in Scotland and in the United States. So it's pretty amazing, pretty interesting, and you can offshoot all kinds of interests. It's great for a scanner like me that likes to dabble in all kinds of different history subjects, and it can be overwhelming if I allow myself to ask too many questions at once. But for Christmas, I'm wanting to get the companion volumes, and so Manuel said that can be arranged. So that'll kind of help me with all the little interesting things that I'd like to pursue about it. But okay, so then there are 2 Texas authors that I just recently discovered. I think it was Jessica at Peace Love Books that introduced me to this author, and it turns out she's right up above me in Texas, Shanna Galen. And so she has a series, it's called the Survivor Series. This is the first one, Third Sons of Charm. The titles kind of made me think that I wasn't going to like them, because I thought they were a little bit cutesy, the titles, but wow, she's a really, really good writer, and the story pulled me right in, and was really, really good. And so each one is going to cover a different one of these military guys that survived these really difficult battalion that they were in, and it is the 1800s, so it is just really amazing. And what I started to do, I have these Levenger book notes, bookmarks, and in order to kind of remind myself of what I thought of a book, I fill these out. I say where I got it, I put highlights, and on this one I wrote down, bodyguard hired to prevent her from eloping. Yeah, it was quite a fun premise, and how, okay, he has a learning disability. It's sort of like dyslexia, I'm not sure. There was a lot of tension and angst, and this was book 1 in the series. Very good. Pages flew by. I read in 2 days. Okay, so when I look back, I'll remember. But then I have a couple more in that series, but I noticed there were 12. So as far as her backlist goes, there's quite a bit to keep me busy for a long time. And then what happened was, I followed Shanna Galen on signed up for her newsletter, and she was giving away a book called 100 Nights with the Duke by Jess Michaels. And I had not heard of Jess Michaels, but this is this author's 100th book. And I do believe that she's gone into indie publishing. I'm not sure. I read that somewhere, but don't quote me because it could be wrong. But this is another Texas writer from Dallas area. So there's a long backlist on her books too. And it just sounded like really a fun summer read, and my goodness, her 100th book. Isn't that amazing? So there's just plenty right there. Like, I don't have to go much further whatsoever. And I will kind of go back and forth, because I think if I'm reading too much about war and strife, it's too much. So I will definitely go back and forth. Excuse me. And yeah, it'll be a while before Stars puts out season 7. So I think I'm up to date so far by hook and by crook, because I got a free some sort of a free thing through Amazon to be able to watch season 6, and it was a quick watch because there were only 8 episodes in season 6. So okay, so we wait and we wait and we wait for the next ones. But okay, what did I put down next? Okay, I better hurry because I may run out of room on my storage. Okay, next I put inked project. Okay, inked is separate. So I have 8 pens inked up and in my Knox and Claire, and I happen to notice that 4 are Opus 88 eyedroppers, 1 is a Moonman eyedropper, and the other 3 are cartridge converter. And I know I'm super happy to keep writing with these, and I don't know what I'm going to do for June yet, but I have an idea. I'm just wondering whether I can follow through. So that's where I'm at. But I just did a sort of an update. Basically, you know how these inks are all going. The other project I've been doing, I got now 3 different ink brands into these shell boxes, because one of my pen friends, you know who you are and thank you so much, gave me a couple that she wasn't using. And so I've got Robert Oster, and I've got, well, Pilot I had already done. And now I have Noodlers, all in all the sample vials that correspond either to a bottle or just a sample into these boxes, because I'm starting to want to see and separate by ink brand. It's not probably going to be possible across the board, because I'm not buying any more of these boxes or anything else. So whatever I have on hand is what I have to work with. But I enjoyed that immensely, and I actually I think I filled this up. I think there was only one. By the time I get everything on my desk in here, there's only 2 spaces left. That's quite a bit. And that also tells me that until I fully explore all these, I certainly have no business getting any more. And that's, you know, it just solidifies my stance on, you know, enjoying using up and what I have. And we'll be getting channel money probably Monday, so there'll be an opportunity to get writing paper, which I do need, and probably I need envelopes, but those are the only 2 things I can actually say I need. Let's see. I have 2 more things written down. Feelings about no spend. Well, this is not a declared no spend, because it's not actually. It's just another happy accident, like becoming decaffeinated. It's where I was so fed up with myself for bringing more things into my, you know, ink shelves and pens, and, you know, I knew that I just hadn't gone deep enough or integrated what I had into my life, or decided on things to give away and pass on, which is coming, and it's making more sense now that I'm spending more time with what I have. So it's not actually a no spend, but I'm feeling really, really, really good about it anyway. Just like with the getting caffeine free by accident, it feels like some of my intentions are becoming easier to make them come true without as much effort, which is puzzling but wonderful, and possibly, you know, from some of the work that I've been doing. But I'll take it any way I can get things to go smoothly and happily like that. And on that note, maybe toward this last minute or 2, I'm doing a little bit better with getting some pen pal letters out. Obviously, I was completely derailed during the funeral week, and then not too long after that, we both got sick. First, it was like I needed to do quite a bit more because Manuel was sick, and then I got sick, and whoa, and with all the additional work in the yard and things like that, But I feel like that is, my enjoyment and enthusiasm for it is coming online, and I'm dropping the perfectionism. There's kind of a theme there that's going across the board. And so I'm excited about it because it's the hot summertime, and it's actually really nice to have things to do at the desk after working outside, or, having to balance it, because I don't want to go out there and, overdo it anyway. I want to be able to come in and then do some indoor things, and also look at the air quality that day, because there's just no sense trying to do it all at once. It'll all get done by just working little by little. So, but that's really happy to me that I don't feel stressed or pressured right now with the pen pal writing, but I'm also very far behind. So I do have a seriousness about me that, realizing that, geez, if it wasn't for my YouTube channel and my Instagram, some people might wonder if I was still alive. So that is a little bit, it is what it is. And I think I'm not the only one that has gone through that or is going through it, and it's okay. Certainly it's okay, and I understand when that is the case with other people. So I'm sure that people understand, in my direction, basically. So, oh my goodness, this was a ramble, and I am going to have to end it, because what'll happen is if I go too long and jam up my storage too much, then it'll say I don't have enough, whatever it is, probably RAM or something. And so there's plenty of chance to do another video, but I just wanted to give you a little personal update. I would say things are going well. It's not without challenges, these different subjects, and I didn't even talk yet about, trying to make a trip to Vermont. That's a little bit difficult till we, make sure Emmanuel's going to be okay. And there's a few other complications in that area too. But I just have to believe that when the time is right for me to be able to see my family, my mom, my brother, my nephew, and my, my people up there, my aunts, and everybody that I want to see, that I'll be able to do it. I guess one of the major lessons I've been learning is that whenever you're trying to force things, it'll probably not happen. It will happen when it is time. And that can be a little bit hard to accept sometimes, but then it just goes better. It just goes a lot better. So, but I hold the intention, and I work with that, with the intention of truly wanting to get back to Vermont to spend time up there with my family. And so I know it'll happen. So that's that. And I'd love to hear about what's going on with you, inside and outside of the pen hobby, both, because I'm interested. And this kind of video is always fun, because then we open up all these little conversations, and we share book ideas and other ideas, and I love it. So take care and have an awesome summer, and I'll see you soon, because we are almost in June already. So I have to make my decision about which way I'm going to go, whether I'm going to try a little daily ink experiment, or whether I'm going to go ahead and clean pens and try some different pens and ink combinations. I'm still on the fence, so I'll get there though. See you on the next one. Bye for now.